Hello, guys, and welcome to another episode. So, today we'll be looking at test coverage, how far you should cover when you're writing your test. So, let's quickly jump in. So, if you look at my code, what I have here, I have two methods basically. I have store and I have update. And if you look at what we have here, I'm validating this data, making sure it's required and it's a string. Make sure this email, this should be an email and it should be unique. And this is a password and should have like six, minimum of 6 characters. And if this data is provided as I expected, it should store in user. And if you come to update, I'm checking based on the ID. This is not the best of the code, but guys, what I just want to achieve here is to make sure that we have a good test coverage. Yeah. So we are getting the ID, and then we are updating this information based on the ID. So we are updating the name, we're also updating the email, and then we are also updating the password, right? Now, these are the edge cases. If you're writing tests, these are things you consider as your edge cases. Is this provided? Is this as expected? Is this provided? Is it as expected? Is this provided? Is it as expected? Those are edge cases. And edge cases, these are the things you consider when you're writing your test. So let's look at the test I have here. So if you come here, I have this is a pest. I'm using Laravel pest. I don't know if you can see what I have here very well. So we have you can we have can create a new user. So we have all of this information is provided as expected, and then this is provided, and this is fine. That is the first aspect of it. The data is provided, is fine, and then everything works fine. The next thing we have here is that you cannot create a user with an existing email. If an email already exists, which we already have here, you should not be able to create it, right? So this email already exists, so you cannot create it. It should throw an error. So that's another layer of coverage. And then the last layer we have under this is it returns a validation error when no data is entered. If you do not provide any data, it's going to generate an error because you need to. These are required field name, email, and password. So what did I not cover here? I did not actually check for the password if it is out of 6 characters and above. So these are your edge cases, and this is a very good test coverage in as much as I did not cover all right. But if I add the other password, then I'm having like 100 coverage. So if you come to my update here, I'm checking for you can check that the name is updated. I also check that if user email is updated, and I also check that password is also updated, right? So there are also things that I miss here. Like I should check when all the data are updated at the same time. Is that possible? And I should also that's just it. Basically, I should also check if no data is provided, just like I did here. Yeah. So that is how you should look at what you should consider when you are writing your test. You must spend as much time as you're writing the code because most of when your test is going to be more because you're going to be considering a lot of edge cases. So it's important that you pay more attention because if you have your test is written well, it's good. It's actually essential. So we'll be looking at some of the benefit of having a good test coverage. So please stay with me, and if you're still here, please subscribe if you have not, and leave us a like button. And if there's any comment, please drop it in the comment section, and we attend to them. Benefit of having a good test coverage is that one, it reduces errors and bugs. If you have a good test coverage, there will be no need for bugs popping up here and there because test has actually covered everything, right? So another thing is that increase code reliability. Your code, you know that your code is reliable. You can go to bed, sleep very well, knowing that your code is going to be working fine and nobody is going to be waking you up for just no cause at all. Yeah, so it faster the learning cycle. If every test, if test is covered very well, you will not be going back and forth because you are adding new features and things are breaking. Because your test will be pointing out those issues that are failing already, and you'll be able to fix them as you are developing, and you will not have to go back and come and start debugging and a whole lot doing that. In some scenarios, you have a feature that is already working, and once you have a new feature that is coming there, everything stopped working. That was working before stopped working. But if you have a good test coverage, tests will already cut those things. Like if they are affected, your test will start failing. And one thing I always encourage is that if you are pushing a new code, if you are pushing a new code to either GitLab, GitHub, or whatsoever you're using, you should make sure that your test runs on your local and everything works fine before it even get there. So another advantage is that confidence in your code changes. You are confident that in as much as you're changing your code, everything is still going to work fine, because if there are issues, your test will fail and you will have to go fix them before you proceed. So another thing it does is that you support continuous integration and continuous deployment, because everything is working fine. You can easily continue to deploy your application. And then easier maintenance. Your code is easy to maintain, because test is covering everything. If there's an issue, your test will fail and you have to fix it. So another thing it does is that it enhances customer satisfaction. Yeah, because of there are few errors, you see few or no errors on your Sentry. So it means your customers having enjoying the application. They are not having issues, because all the issues you have, your test has covered them, and your code has made sure it has covered those issues. And another thing which is very important is that in terms of your security, there's an assurance, because your tests cover all of those too. Yeah, I'm sure this is something we're going to be looking more into in terms of your test covering the security aspect of your code and how you should write your code, knowing that there can be security breach. And then the last thing we have is that it facilitates refactoring. Yeah, it helps refactoring and it makes refactoring easy, because test is actually covering everything. So anytime you refactor something, you also make sure your tests follow along, and then everything goes. So that is just it for this episode, guys. Please stay subscribed. I'm still trying to grow this YouTube channel, so your subscription and likes are actually very important. Yeah, so I will see you in the next episode. Thanks, guys.